Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I want to show this video to you folks today. This video is one in a series of 5 that will go over some of the best cards that we have here in our new set. Our new set, as you're probably aware, is Wilds of Eldraine, and this video is going to cover the top 10 rare cards for Wilds of Eldraine. Alright, so let's get started. These cards are coming out in no particular order, and I want to start with Tangled Colony. Tangled Colony is a really nice card. You can see it over here. It's really nice. The reason I like this one here so much is it has this Rat Swarm ability. Now, if you've seen the other videos that kind of go with this series where I talk about the best cards of each rarity for this new set, you'll notice that there's a certain theme. You'll notice that I really like this Rat Swarm ability. Alright, so let's talk about what this card does, how it ties into the Rat Swarm ability, and how you can use it. Alright, so first of all, this creature cannot block. That's really important. It would be nice if it could block, but you know what, it can't, so oh well. When this creature is dealt damage, create X Rat Swarm tokens. X is equal to the damage dealt that way. Alright, Rat Swarm, let's take a look why I think it's so awesome. Alright, Rat Swarm is a support card. It's a rat enchantment with 1 shield, and it cannot be reinforced. Alright, so every time you put one down, it's going to be a second one, it's going to be a third one, it's going to be one more added to your collection that you have there on the field, right? It's not going to be one stacked on top of each other, just like every other enchantment, every other support. Alright, so at the beginning of combat on your turn, deal 1 damage to your opponent's Planeswalker. You can see why I like it so much. You can do 1 damage for every single one of these Rat Swarm tokens. So if you have 100, that would be 100 right there. That would be nice. That's how you win games, right? That's what I like. Obviously, we're not going to be able to make 100. It's kind of difficult. But if you make a lot of them, that's going to help you even more. So I do like this card. Here's the next card, Scalding Viper. Scalding Viper is a nice card here. It's got a good ability here. I'll read what it says. When an opponent casts a card that costs 11 or less, deal X damage to your opponent's Planeswalker. X is equal to 3 plus this creature's reinforcements. So this is not overwhelming, right, in its own sense here. You could build a deck around this and stack this guy to be real high, and every time your opponent plays a card that's 11 or less, they're going to take a lot of damage. You could do that. That's a very legitimate way of using this card. But I think the strength of this card comes here on the back side. Now, this card, as I mentioned in some of these other videos, has this ability called Adventure. Adventure is a nice ability because it gives you the chance to play this card as either a creature or you can use it as a spell. Now, this is what it allows you to do. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Now, that may not seem, overwhelming in its own right, but if you consider the fact that this is a card that's allowed in the red set, that's going to be very, very beneficial for you. The reason for that is if you take a look at some of the creature removal cards for red, you'll notice that a lot of them are damage related, right? So do 3 damage to a target opposing creature, do 5 damage to a target opposing creature. And it becomes problematic when you have bigger creatures, right? Like, let's say you got a creature that you're playing against and you got to get him off the board and his toughness is 8, right? That deal 5 damage to opposing creature is not going to get that creature off the board. So you're going to have to play another card. That becomes expensive, that becomes inefficient, and who knows, you may not have enough time, enough mana to get that creature off the board. That's a good way to lose games. You don't want to do that. This card here is allowable in red, as you can see, and it just says, hey, forget it. We're removing that creature from the board. We're putting it back in the owner's hand. That's really nice. One shot, you don't have to worry about putting more damage or anything like that. The thing I like about this one also is that, let's say your opponent has 6 cards in their hand, the hand is full, you send the creature back to your opponent's hand, they cannot put it in their hand because it's full, and their end result, of course, is that it will be destroyed. So that's really nice. This is a very effective card that can be used in red, so I do like it here. Here's the next one, Twinning Twins. Twinning Twins here, you can see it's got the ability here, that adventure ability. So this is a nice card in itself here. You got some vigilance, flying, 4/4 for 10. That's kind of nice. The important part about this card is this back part here. It says exile target non-token creature, then return the last creature from its controller's exile to the battlefield under their control with all its reinforcements. Alright, so what you can do possibly with this card is, imagine you have a card that has one of those abilities that's like, hey, you know, when this creature enters the battlefield, do whatever, right? If you have a card like that, you can play this card. It's going to exile that creature, and it's going to put them back on, right? And when it puts it back on, it's going to be able to use that ability again. So some cards, for instance, are like, when this creature comes into the battlefield, summon 4 Thopters or something like that. You can use that, get your 4 Thopters, use this card here to exile that card, and then bring it back on, and then you'll get another 4 Thopters. Now that might not sound incredibly advantageous, but what I would do is take a look at some of these other cards that you have that same kind of ability when it enters the battlefield, and you'll be able to use it twice. Very cool stuff. Here's another one. Lich Knight's Conquest. It's a spell card. It allows you to destroy the top 4 from your library, and it has a nice bargain ability, right? So you've used the bargain ability. It says return the first creature with the greatest mana value up to 14 from your graveyard to the battlefield under your control. Reinforce that creature X times. X is the number of support and token cards you control, including the reinforcements. Then destroy all support and token cards you control. Okay, so in a previous video, I won't share exactly which card, but there is a card that allows you to take an enchantment card that you have, and when it's destroyed, replace it with a Rat Swarm card, which is another enchantment, really, right? You can use this card along with that card to help you to load up on all these tokens, load up on all your supports, and with those Rat Swarm, as I mentioned, you can get a lot of them out. And you're going to be able to use this card here to reinforce a certain creature a multitude of times. This is a nice card. I feel like this card can be, in certain decks, a game winner. Alright, so take a look at this card. Try to get it if you can. Alright, here's the next one I like. Thunderous Debut. Thunderous Debut is a nice one. It says here, pick one of the first 4 creature cards from your library. Move that card into play under your control. If you use the bargain ability, you can pretty much do the same exact thing over again. So that's very good. For 16, you're going to be able to get 2 creatures. Very, very cool. I like that. Here's the next one, Chancellor of Tides. Chancellor of Tides kind of goes with the card that we just saw. You can kind of see, I'm not going to give away any spoilers just yet. I'll probably see if we can put this in a deck once we get it out, and then you can see exactly how to use it. When you cast a spell card with Adventure, the first other spell card or card with Adventure in your hand gains 12 mana. If you can't, fetch the first card with Adventure from your library. Hint, hint, there's a way that you can use this in kind of a prolonged infinite loop. I'm saying prolonged infinite loop because it is kind of infinite, but it's going to take you the course of a several series of turns. Alright? Here's the next one, Godric Cloak Reveler. Okay, it says at the beginning of combat on your turn celebration, this creature's base power and toughness becomes 4/4 until the end of turn. So that basically means if you play 2 cards or 2 cards come into play, you will be able to use this celebration ability. It's going to also gain flying. And here's an important one. When you match a red gem for the first time during your turn, your dragon creatures get +5/+5 until the end of turn. I can see this one being used with Sarkhan 1. Sarkhan 1 has that dragon ability to him, that black and red one where you can multiply the power of your dragons and use that as direct damage. This is going to be one of those cards that I'm going to try to put in a Sarkhan deck and see if we can get this +5/+5 on all of my dragons and then use it to just completely annihilate my opponent. Alright, good card. Here's the next one, Gallant Pie Welder. This is a good one here. At the beginning of the combat on your turn, celebration, creatures you have will get that Double Strike ability. Double Strike is really nice. I like Double Strike. It's probably one of the best abilities. I like Double Strike. I like Prevent Damage. I like Death Touch. Those are all really, really good abilities. But this one will give all of your creatures Double Strike. Very, very nice. Okay, here's the next one, Song of Totentaz. It says here, when you match red gems, if this card is in your hand, increase this card's level by 1. Create X Rat Swarm tokens. X is equal to this card's level. Creatures you control gain haste until the end of your turn. Okay, so there's some good things about this. I like the haste ability, but I like that you can use this to create rat swarms. Alright, what I'm thinking initially is play this card with Koth 2. If you have Koth 2, what you'll be able to do is start putting down land cards, and you can definitely get those land cards. They'll be red. You'll be able to get them to connect to each other, level up this card really quickly, and you'll be able to load up on some rat swarms. So I definitely say that this is one of the best ones that we have. Okay, here's the last one here, Questing Druid. Whenever you cast a white, blue, black, or red card, this creature gets +1/+1. This creature gets also +1/+1 for its reinforcements. Alright, so kind of reading it as it is, I'm thinking this could be a card that you reinforce, make it bigger and bigger, but also if you play a lot of white, blue, black, or red, you're going to be able to stack the bonus buff that you get even faster, right? It's going to be faster and faster and bigger, and it's going to be a card that wins you some games. I do like that ability there. Here's the backside of the card. Discard the last card from your hand, then draw 2 cards. The last 2 cards in your hand gain 4 mana. Not huge, still very usable, but really the strength of this card here is the Questing Druid side. Okay, that's it for me, guys. I hope you guys liked this video. Try to watch all of the ones that we have for this set so you get a good idea of all of the good cards that you should be chasing after, all of these wish list cards. Okay, like and subscribe, that helps us, and good gaming.